Ethan's shuttle landed roughly on the alien planet. Dust and red sand whirled around its metal legs, painting the hull with streaks of rust-like color. He squinted against the bright twin suns, trying to take in his surroundings. The planet looked alive, strange, and dangerous. Towering crystal trees glittered in sunlight, their branches humming softly with energy. He had been sent here to collect samples for human science, but something in the air felt different, almost alive. Ethan stepped down from the shuttle, testing the soil with his boot. It was soft yet firm, vibrating faintly under pressure. He adjusted his backpack and checked his tools. His scanners showed unusual energy readings coming from deeper within the forest nearby. That's where he needed to go. He didn't know yet that something far more dangerous than the forest waited for him. As he moved, shadows twisted unnaturally between the crystal trees. Ethan kept his pulse steady. He knew every planet had its dangers, but humans had faced dangers before. He had trained for this. Every step took him deeper into the alien woods, and soon the bright light of the twin suns was filtered through the glowing leaves, creating shifting patterns on the ground. It was beautiful but deceptive. Without warning, a figure lunged from the shadows. It was fast, with armor that glimmered like liquid metal. Ethan barely raised his energy blade in time. Sparks flew as it struck his shield. He stumbled backward, tripping over a root-like crystal. Pain shot through his shoulder as the blade nicked his arm. He could see dozens of others emerging, alien warriors, tall, lean, and extremely fast. Their movements were precise, coordinated, and deadly. Ethan's mind raced. He ducked behind a crystalline tree and slashed with his blade, buying himself some space. His scanners beeped furiously. He had triggered a defense alert, and these aliens were trained to attack intruders without mercy. Despite the fear, Ethan stayed calm. Fear was useless here. What mattered was thinking, moving, surviving. A sharp strike grazed his leg, throwing him off balance. He landed hard on the ground, pain shooting through his chest. The forest seemed to close in around him, the crystal trees almost whispering in the wind. He struggled to his feet, clutching his arm. Blood seeped through the makeshift bandage he had hurriedly tied. It was a deep cut, one that would need serious attention soon. Ethan ran. He didn't know where exactly he was going, only that he needed shelter. The forest had strange creatures, some curious, some dangerous, but he had no choice. Each step was agony. His body screamed for rest, but he ignored it. Humans survived because they adapted. That thought gave him strength. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time was strange here. Ethan's legs were sore, his chest heavy with exhaustion. Suddenly, he stumbled into a clearing. The ground here was smoother, and in the distance he saw a towering palace unlike anything he had ever imagined. It rose like a crystal mountain, glowing faintly under the sun's light. This had to be the home of the alien queen. His scanners confirmed strong energy readings inside. Ethan knew he should avoid it, but he was too tired to continue running. He collapsed behind a low crystal ridge and tried to catch his breath. His mind raced with questions. Would the queen kill him immediately, or would she ignore him as humans were nothing to her? Either way, he couldn't stay outside. He had to take the risk and enter the palace. As he slowly approached, strange symbols on the walls pulsed faintly. The palace seemed alive, responding to his presence. The closer he got, the heavier the air felt, and Ethan's wound throbbed painfully. His strength was fading fast. He gritted his teeth and pushed forward, each step an act of will. Suddenly, alien guards appeared. They were tall and armed with energy spears. They surrounded him instantly. Ethan raised his hands, trying to show he meant no immediate threat. I'm not here to fight, he said, hoping they understood. The guards did not move. Their eyes were cold, unblinking. Ethan knew words alone would not save him. He tried to remain calm, but his body ached and his blood loss made it hard to think. Then she appeared. The alien queen, taller than any warrior, with eyes that glowed like molten metal, stepped forward. Her presence was overwhelming. The guards stiffened, and Ethan felt as if the air itself had changed. He instinctively straightened, though every muscle in his body screamed in pain. The queen's gaze fell on Ethan's arm. Her expression changed. Not anger, not curiosity, but something else. Something cautious. He didn't understand it, but the guards did. They dropped their spears without a word. Shock and fear rippled through them as if witnessing something impossible. Ethan looked at her in confusion. You're not attacking?" he asked, barely finding the strength to speak. The queen ignored his question, bending slightly to inspect the wound. Her eyes scanned it, and she placed a hand near the injury, but did not touch. A faint glow emanated from the wound, visible even under the bright suns. The Queen's breath caught slightly, and for the first time Ethan saw hesitation in her eyes. One of the guards whispered something, but the Queen shook her head. No one dared speak. The humans were supposed to be weak, fragile creatures, yet here was one who survived what should have been fatal, carrying a wound that glowed with an unknown energy. Ethan slumped to the ground, exhausted, but his mind remained alert. He realized the glow from his wound must be unusual to her people. Maybe it was dangerous, maybe valuable, maybe both. Either way, he had become far more than a trespasser. The Queen stepped back and waved her hand. Two healers approached, moving swiftly yet carefully. They examined the wound using advanced alien tools, scanning the energy patterns that humans could not normally produce. Ethan winced at the touch, but the pain began to ease as the healers applied their techniques. Hours seemed to pass as the healers worked. Ethan felt strength returning, his body mending in ways he had never imagined. The Queen observed silently, her face unreadable. Ethan noticed a faint flicker of something, respect, curiosity, perhaps even awe. The guards, still on edge, kept a careful distance, their earlier confidence replaced with caution. Finally, Ethan was able to sit up fully. Ethan slowly rose from the soft crystalline floor, feeling the pulse of alien energy beneath him. The palace was unlike anything he had imagined. Tall walls of glowing crystal, corridors that curved impossibly, and a quiet hum that seemed alive. Despite his exhaustion, he felt a strange awe. The healers had done their work well. His wound was no longer bleeding, though it throbbed faintly with a mysterious energy. The alien Queen walked ahead, her tall figure moving with authority and grace. Ethan followed cautiously, careful not to stumble. Every step he took made him more aware of the strangeness of this place. He had thought humans were fragile in comparison to aliens, but the Queen's reaction to his wound had shown him otherwise. Somehow he had earned a measure of respect simply by surviving. "You will rest here," the Queen said, her voice calm but commanding. Her words carried weight that made even the guards pause in attention. "Your body has endured much. The energy within you is unusual. It could be dangerous if not controlled." Ethan nodded, still trying to catch his breath. I didn't mean to intrude," he said. "I was just exploring." The Queen turned her glowing eyes on him, and for a moment he felt the full weight of her presence. "You survived what should have killed you," she said quietly. "That is not chance. Humans are unpredictable. You are remarkable." Ethan blinked, surprised. Respect from the most powerful being on this planet was something he had never expected. "Remarkable?" he repeated, a faint smile on his lips despite the pain. "I'm just trying to stay alive." She regarded him for a long moment before motioning to the healers. They began to check his vitals again, scanning for any residual energy in his wound. Ethan felt a gentle hum under his skin, a warmth that spread from the injury through his arm. He realized the energy in his wound was reacting to the palace itself. It was almost as if the planet, and perhaps the Queen herself, was aware of him. As Ethan rested, he observed the palace more carefully. The halls were filled with symbols he could not read, and light shimmered in patterns that made the air feel alive. He noticed alien artifacts, machines, and even gardens inside the crystal walls, glowing with bioluminescent plants. It was a world entirely unlike his own, and yet he could feel a strange connection. The Queen spoke again, breaking the silence. "Your people survived through adaptability, courage, and unpredictability," she said, "traits we have underestimated for too long. Your wound, it is a sign of that resilience." Ethan thought about her words. Humans were often seen as weak or fragile by other civilizations, but in truth, they had endured countless hardships. He had faced death in that forest, yet he had survived. That was human strength, he realized. Not brute force, not advanced weapons, but determination, ingenuity, and courage. Over the next hours, the Queen quietly observed him. She tested him in subtle ways, asking questions about human culture, survival tactics, and even scientific principles. Ethan answered as best he could, explaining human strategies, problem-solving methods, and the way humans adapted to extreme conditions. She listened intently, her expression unreadable, though he thought he saw flashes of admiration in her glowing eyes. The healers continued their work, and Ethan felt his strength returning. The glowing energy in his wound stabilized, no longer painful, but alive with a strange rhythm. He realized the energy might have a connection to the planet's unique environment. Perhaps it was what had allowed him to survive when no one else could. The Queen finally spoke again, her tone softer, almost thoughtful. "You will not be harmed here, but you will remain under observation. Humans are unpredictable. That unpredictability is dangerous, yet fascinating." Ethan nodded. He understood the caution, yet he also sensed an opportunity. He was no longer merely a trespasser. He had survived against impossible odds, earned the Queen's respect, and perhaps even her trust. He wondered what could come next. In the days that followed, Ethan learned more about the alien civilization. Their society was strict, disciplined, and highly advanced, yet he saw limitations in their thinking. They relied on precise calculations, order, and predictability. Humans, he realized, had something they lacked: the ability to act unpredictably, to improvise, to survive where others might fail. One day, the Queen called him to a large observation chamber. From here, he could see the alien city, its towers, reaching toward the sky, and the alien ships gliding silently in the distance. She explained the political tensions surrounding her rule, rebellions, rival factions, and threats from neighboring planets. Yet she seemed to consider him more than a simple human. "You survived when others would have perished," she said. "I have watched you. Your courage, resourcefulness, and adaptability. These are qualities we have not seen in a single being before. You are more than your species. You are exceptional." Ethan felt a mix of pride and disbelief. He had never thought of himself as exceptional. He had merely survived, relied on his instincts, and never given up. Yet the Queen's words made him realize something important. Humans had a unique strength, one that even the most advanced civilizations could respect. Over time, Ethan participated in small